It seemed to me that Bush deserved a full biography going into who he was and how he ran the presidency. Bush picked Cheney to run with him as his vice presidential candidate in the 2000 election because he realized he had no experience in Washington, and Cheney had that. And then came 9/11 and the attack on the United States. And on 9/12, the day afterwards, Cheney offered to handle this for the president, and Bush said no, that he was the commander-in-chief, and that as commander-in-chief he was going to decide. And really from that point on, Cheney's role diminished considerably. Bush was deeply religious. He believed literally in the Bible and literally believed that he was God's agent on earth to combat evil. His decision to intervene in Iraq, to invade Iraq, is undoubtedly the worst foreign policy decision ever made by an American president. And then he changed the rules in Iraq and said we're going to become occupiers instead of simply liberators. There would be no ISIS today if Bush had not invaded and invaded Iraq. Saddam Hussein was not an enemy of the United States, and his was probably the most secular government, the most secular regime in the Middle East. There was no Al-Qaeda under Saddam. There was no ISIS under Saddam. He kept the lid on all of that. But Bush did some things that were not bad. If you look at it domestically, No Child Left Behind, his decision to give prescription drugs to seniors, his work on AIDS. The financial crisis in 2008, that's another reason why I don't believe that Bush was the worst president the United States ever had. I think by then Bush learned after the problems he'd had in Iraq, and Bush simply relied on the judgment of Bernanke at the Federal Reserve Board and the Secretary of the Treasury, and took their advice even when it was contrary to what he believed. And I think by doing that, Bush saved the United States from a very serious depression. These were all very positive things that George W. Bush did. So I think, as I say in the book, he was not America's worst president, but his decision to intervene in Iraq was undoubtedly the worst foreign policy decision ever made by an American president.